to We Need Space, a podcast about actual asexuality by an actual asexual. My name is Mag Piper, and as usual, I will be your host. Still working on the Patreon. It's been a long year. It's been a long year, and it's about to get longer. Gotta love the holidays. Hope everyone had a good Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. I almost wish it lasted longer. Thanksgiving and Christmas come all too soon. I would like to inform everyone that my new favorite word is sniggle. It is absolutely a real word, something about fishing for eels, but I encountered it in a badly translated Chinese novel, and I love it. I'm fairly sure the translator meant either snicker or giggle by the context, but sniggle is much more amusing in this situation. Moving on. I was bored in the break room at work the other day when I happened to notice an issue of Cosmo sitting pretty on a pile of magazines. Why the heck there would be a Cosmo in a professional environment, I have no clue, but it gave me ideas. All research for today's episode was done in incognito mode, because I don't want Big Brother to know that I've been looking up Cosmo articles. Did you know there was such a thing as a sex horoscope? It's fascinating. Dumb, but fascinating. I don't hold much stock in horoscopes, but they're fun to read sometimes, especially something like a sex horoscope. According to the horoscope for my sun sign, I'm a Cancer, I'm feeling pretty upbeat this weekend, and it's a great time to come out of my sexual shell. Mars entering Scorpio this week makes me feel like a straight-up horn dog, and I will be getting lucky for the next few weeks. I'd rather not, thanks. It's funny though, my moon sign is Leo, and Leo's sex horoscope says I'll be entering a dry spell. Aren't those contradictory? Like, which one is right? Neither. Can't enter a dry spell if I never have a not dry spell? What's the opposite of a dry spell? Don't answer that. I really don't want to know. Another fun article I stumbled across was 9 Thanksgiving sex positions you'll be beyond grateful for. Who has sex on Thanksgiving? Eat your turkey, not someone's genitals. Lordy, that sounded like something from Silence of the Lambs. Anyways, each of these sex positions has some weird Thanksgiving-themed name, like the Naughty Pilgrim or the Trussed Up Turkey. Both sound like bad porno titles. Or Harlequin romance novels. Maybe Nancy Drew? A mashup of all three? Sorry, Nancy Drew. I always liked Tom Swift better. Gotta give Cosmo props, though. There were several articles about interabled sex, sex with disabilities, and lesbian sex. That kind of representation has to count for something at least. Kind of makes me wonder where the articles on MLM sex are, if not in Cosmo. I don't really want to know. If any of you know, please don't tell me. The answer is probably Harry Potter fanfiction anyways. Nothing against Harry Potter fanfiction. It's one of my favorite genres, but you'd never expect the sex scenes. They just jump out at you. Expecto fornication much. Okay, let's keep going. As an asexual person, I'm not fond of anything that overglorifies sex. Like, on the Cosmo website, there's a tab on the guide bar that just says, sex. Tone it down, my dudes. At least Out magazine has the decency not to have sex tips on the homepage. You gotta go looking for them. Apparently, emoji users have more sex. I don't know what emojis have to do with sex. Something about eggplants? Why even is there an eggplant emoji? Eggplants are disgusting. However, I find I must recant some of my earlier hatred for Cosmo. There are a couple of articles about asexuality, such as 3 people open up about what it's like to be asexual. Can you be asexual but also enjoy kink? And the ever-riveting, my boyfriend left his girlfriend for me and now everyone hates us. The last one is more of a question and answer article, and one of the questions is technically about asexuality, so it's a little valid. Out also has articles about asexuality, including the fan favorite 9 ways to break up with your boyfriend, where way number 1 is, I've realized that I'm really asexual, and the others are pretty much all blatant lies. How far have we fallen that a magazine like Cosmo has better representation than a magazine that is specifically for the LGBTQIA+ community? Do not despair, dear listeners. I have another source for articles about asexuality that seem pretty good. Good as in, I read the first paragraph of each article and didn't feel bile rising in my throat. Archer magazine. None of the articles that mention asexuality push it to the side or treat other matters as more important. I personally enjoyed reading The Asexual Spectrum, Sex Education, Stigma, and Silence. It talks about the inadequacy of sex ed, something I despair of myself, as well as the belief in many countries that women should be kept from talking about and or learning about sex for religious or cultural reasons. Really fascinating stuff. I know my track record with putting up links on my Twitter is bad, but I swear I'll put up the links to the Archer articles. They're really cool. I might see if there's any possibility I could write for them at some point, because I respect their treatment of my sexuality, as opposed to the other two magazines I know about that mention sex and the like. I also just discovered The Body Is Not an Apology, that has reputable looking articles on asexuality. Google is my friend. I will also put up a link to the search results for asexual on TBINAA. Honestly, finding the articles from Archer and TBINAA nearly made me cry. I know, intellectually, that there are more asexuals in the world and that I am not alone. I know there are more asexuals than the ones in which I interact on a daily or nearly daily basis. But knowing and believing are different things. Seeing well-written, well-thought-out articles penned by so many different people with similar experiences to mine, it makes me feel seen. It gives me hope for the future, that more people will be exposed to the concept of asexuality, and that more people will be able to feel less alone. There are no words to express how grateful I am for those two publications and the writers of the articles that touch my heart. I can only hope that my own small efforts via this podcast can lift others in the community up and make them feel heard and loved. I wish there was a magazine specifically for those of us on the asexual/aromantic spectrums. As far as I'm aware, there isn't currently, but it's such a lovely thing to dream about, and maybe someday it will become a reality. I personally have no doubts that as asexual individuals become more prominent in the media and in the LGBTQIA+ community, there will be more and more opportunities for such representation. I mean, even BTS has a magazine. Why can't asexuality? With that thought, I will leave you for today. Every listen, comment, and like really helps. If you can, feel free to buy me a coffee. The link is in the description, as well as my Twitter bio. You can find that Twitter bio at needspacepod, or you can email me at weneedspace.podcast@gmail.com. The music I use is Mirror Mirror by Diamond Ortiz. This has been Mag Piper, and as always, thank you for listening.